So there was a show called American Sportsman, I think it was called, years and years ago, where they got celebrities to do something fairly dangerous, like they've got this thing on with Bear Grill, and they do things with him. So that's what they basically what they had celebrities doing. If they could find a celebrity to jump off a cliff and that kind of thing. And most celebrities don't jump off cliffs; they just have career changes. And but they had found me, who was game for anything, and so I'm not current now, but I was a pilot, private pilot, and so they said, how would you like to be checked out in basic aerobatic maneuvers? So I went down to Florida at the Air Force base there, and they had a military instructor instruct me as we flew towards the place we were going to begin the maneuvers. He put the plane into a lump shabak, nose over nose, wing over wing. It's a weird maneuver which, if you're not prepared for it, the plane is a lot lighter by the time it finishes. I mean, it scares the bejesus out of you. And that was my introduction to this gentleman's name, I don't remember, teaching me aerobatics. And they were filming me. And what I remember about that was learning how to do Cuban rolls and all that kind of thing. But the plane itself was a pit special, a bi-wing. It was a special plane for aerobatics. And one of the dangers of that plane was it ground rolled. You had to have the stick pulled way back when you landed, otherwise it might turn over. And I had a week to solo. So now it's a Saturday after the Saturday I arrived, and in order to finish the episode, I needed to solo. And the military guy kept saying, oh, I don't know. And the producer says, he's got to solo. I got to finish the episode. So finally, almost at sundown, the military officer says, all right, he can solo. And so I take the plane up, and they're following me in an airplane with a camera. What I don't realize, because I've never flown in formation before, is it takes forever for a plane to catch up. I mean, it's like driving on the highway when you're behind somebody who's going 3 miles an hour slower or faster than you. It takes forever to pass them, and that's the way it was with an airplane. So I never did slow up for the guy. But what was memorable for me was, since it's a nose-high airplane, when you come in for a landing, you're looking over the side of the airplane for the runway. And I had never done that before. I was flying Cessnas, which fly and you can see the runway. So I'm looking for the runway. And they said, if you can't land, do a go-around, which is you just fly back up. So I'm looking for the runway. I don't see any runway. So I do a go-around, and the sun is beginning to set. I have limited time to get on the ground and not ground roll. Well, I finally managed to do it, and so I was accustomed to the dangerous things they wanted me to do. So when they said, how would you like to go to Boise and kayak the Salmon River, I said, of course. What's a kayak? And that's true. I mean, who kayaks? Except kayakers. So they brought me to Boise, and they took me every morning out to the salmon to learn to kayak. Now, what I didn't know was, and they had an Olympic champion kayaker to teach me. What I didn't know was, as I'm sure all of you know, but I didn't know at the time, the rapids are numbered 1 to 5. 1 is easy, and 5, no, don't do 5. Don't go anywhere near 5. So they had in mind, the production company, that they would start me off on a 1, and by the end of the week, put Shatner in the 5. So there's a thing in kayaking called an Eskimo roll. Okay? You're kayaking along, you're feeling good, and suddenly the kayak rolls over because it's top heavy, because you're sitting in the kayak, and the kayak's like that on the water. Flip! Almost before you can, as fast as you can blink your eye. Faster than you can blink your eye, you're underwater. Now, so you're sitting in the kayak like this. This is for people who don't know about kayak. You're sitting in a kayak like this. Now the kayak rolls over. Now you're sitting in the kayak and you're looking up. You're totally disoriented, and of course you're underwater. So the thing you have to do is get your paddle up above the water and brace yourself around and come around. Now when you learn to do it, it's as quick as the thing flips over, you flip back up. It's nothing. Eskimos do it all the time. Actors, not all the time. So the Olympic guy was teaching me to Eskimo roll, and the first day, the way the rapids go, for those of you who don't know, here's the current, and there's the current also against the shore goes the other way. So you can go upstream by sticking close to the shore. Except there are many areas on the salmon which are rock faces, okay? So if you come up against a rock face, you can't Eskimo roll because the thing is right up against the rock. So I do 1, and I learn a little Eskimo roll, and they take me to 2, the next day 3. What they don't tell me is, on the way to the location from Boise, you pass, the first one is the 5. Down there is the 1. They didn't want me to see the 5. So they took me around to the 1. And they took me around to the 2. And finally, on the 5th day, 6th day, I'm looking at this rapid. I mean, this is overwhelming. The waves are going, and as you know, the rocks are here, and the wave goes over, the current goes over the rock, and there's that back splash, or whatever you call it. And if you get caught in that, you could die. And I didn't want to die. Not here in Boise, for God's sakes. So I get in the kayak, and I'm going down the 5, and I flip over. And it's so rapid, and I'm so disoriented, I can't get back up. Now, you sit in the kayak, and you're in a basin like this, and you've got a rubber apron, and you put it over the cockpit, and you have rubber tubing, which is tied tight, so it ties the apron to the kayak, which means you can't get out. And I'm upside down in the 5 thing, and I gotta bail out, and I'm struggling with the apron, and finally I'm out, and I'm under the water, and the water is going very swiftly, and I look up, and I can see my kayak, and I'm underneath the kayak. I'm going along the current at the same speed as the kayak in Boise. I finally emerged. They were saying, he's in trouble, he's in trouble. They were radioing. And anyway, they said to me, we don't have an ending to the show. Would you go again? And I did, and I did. And so, I know Boise. I know, it's a great town, and I've often wanted to come back and take a look at that thing. There's footage somewhere, so many years ago, it was before, all these little cameras and stuff.